Hey, welcome to Screen Crush. I'm Ryan Airy, and we are going to do our first reaction video ever, watching the final trailer for Stranger Things 4. That's how you know this is unfiltered. I'm not even going to edit that out. I am here, so there's no editing in this whatsoever. And I am here, as always, with our manager, Doug. How are you today, Doug?
I am fine, person. I am looking forward to watching this video.
Yeah, now refresh my memory. We've had a few Stranger Things Season 4 trailers already, right?
Yeah, we had the Hopper one with him in the snow and the stuff.
Yeah, there was a Hopper one.
And then there was that freaky one with the room where she lived when she was a kid.
Yep, we did a breakdown on that one.
And then there was the haunted house. That was so spooky.
Yes, we did a breakdown of the haunted house.
And then there was the one where she's 11's in California.
And yes, we did not do a breakdown on that one, but that was it. So we've had a few trailers. This is actually my first time watching this, and instead of just like me going, oh wow, oh my god, I might do some of that, but I'm also going to like be annoying, stop, and just break it down kind of live. So you can sort of see the process that we go through when we make these Easter egg videos, okay? So here we go.
You've broken everything.
Okay, so it's underneath Starcourt Mall. This is the lab where Hopper just destroyed all the stuff, where he and Joyce kind of turned the thing off at the end of season 4 when we thought that he died, but we all probably knew that he didn't die. There was that whole thing in the show, like early in the season, in the letter about leaving the door open a crack, which us and a lot of other great channels, correctly theorized meant the crack in the door. So probably Hopper escaped through some hole through the portal into Russia. And in the first trailer, the Hopper, when they reveal that he's alive, the Russians are building, they've used forced labor to build these train tracks. And I was theorizing that the train tracks are actually going toward a portal. Like there's already a portal to the Upside Down somehow in Russia, but it doesn't work right, whatever. They need two portals, and that you can travel from Russia to America via this little like mini wormhole inside of Russia. Now, the thing is, I'm curious if we're ever going to find out what the heck the Upside Down is. Well, I've thrown out a lot of theories out there, but I still think that there was an event that created the Upside Down. That like it's an alternate timeline where some like horrific thing happened, or maybe time goes backwards in it. Because it's very weird that like all the buildings have an exact opposite. And I don't think it's just going to be magic. I think the show is going to reveal this season what in the heck actually caused this to happen. And in this, you can see like even though Hopper was trying to close the rift, here at the end of it, the rift is still open. Let's start again. Also, we have this evil Palpatine-like voice blaming someone for destroying everything. I think this is probably evil Russian boss talking to Hopper.
Your suffering is almost at an end.
Okay, your suffering's almost at the end. Maybe it's not evil Russian boss because there's no Russian accent. It might actually be the voice of the Mind Flayer, who's kind of been set up as the big bad in Stranger Things. And he could be talking to 11. And just now, the shot, just rewinding here, in the attic. We went over this in our To Dumb trailer video where we talked about the house and everything in the haunted house. This clock they were using in all of these all day yesterday for like for viral marketing. They had this clock in Santa Monica where 11's going to be living in this season. So they had this clock in different places. So clearly time is of some significance. And like I said before, it would make a lot of sense if, say, there was some event, some like wormhole, supergalactic collider thing that created a rip in space-time that rippled backwards in time. So like the Upside Down began maybe in the year 2020 or something, and then it just like kind of rippled backwards, which is why time in this clock could be such a symbolic factor. This shot's in the attic of the, what's the name of the people in the house? Crawleys, I think? Doesn't matter. This is the attic in the haunted house where they go at the beginning and of the trailer, for the last trailer. And the house is going to have some kind of significance because this guy in the house who's played by the guy who plays Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street, the guy in the house killed his kids and his family back in the 50s, Shining style. So there's something like the Upside Down maybe had an early, like the Mind Flayer is able to reach into this guy's mind somehow through this house. This house will have some kind of significance to like connecting to the Upside Down. Let's move on.
It's almost at an end.
Whoa! What the hell was that? All right, we got some freaky White Walker eyes on this thing. Not seen anything like this before. This might actually be the final form of the mind flayer in the Upside Down. Like it's no longer a gas. It's like absorbed, kind of like in season 3, how it took all those different rats and it turned into like a giant ashen tentacle monster. This might be what it was building toward, a more humanoid form. There's a theory that I love, by the way, about the origins of the mind flayer, and it was one of the kids. It was with 11 and the lab and everything. Anyways, we'll see if that might be in here. We just don't know. Netflix. Okay, Max at Billy's grave,
Billy,
reading a
I don't know
letter.
if you can even hear this.
Oh, cool. So we have this upside down shot of a police barricade. Upside down, get it, kids? That looks like it's in the Midwest, probably in Hawkins.
Ever since you left, everything's been a total disaster.
Okay. All right, Steven. Yep, there's Steve, Dustin. Looks like Maya Hawke's character.
Disaster.
Things are getting worse in
For
Hawkins.
a while.
All right, Lucas is a basketball
for a while,
star.
we
That's
tried to be
cool.
happy.
Oh, that's cool. And it's caused a split between the friends. So the geek friends are still in the stands. We've got Mike wearing his Hellfire Club shirt, which was the name of their D&D group, named after the Hellfire Club in the X-Men comics, which was referenced like in the first episode. The episode where the issue where Jean Grey throws Mastermind against the wall when she becomes Dark Phoenix. But now he's become a jock, and they're all kind of like a little separate from each other. I love that. It's like a part of growing up as you grow out from your friends. They also always had like the most problems. You know, like Lucas was always sort of doing his own thing. He was always the first to like have a disagreement or go off and do his own thing. So this is really in character. And I see the woman behind them is dressed like she's influenced by Madonna. She's got like the cross earring and the pearl necklace and stuff and the shoulder strap. Very 80s, very cool. And then 11 in school, and we saw in the last trailer, she's having a really hard time getting on with people. She's like trying to make friends and nobody likes her. And she does not have the social skills to navigate this.
Normal.
And there's Will with her.
Impossible.
Whoa, okay, so this is Max in her school, and that clock has teleported into the wall of the high school. That's awesome. Okay. And now we're at the Russian camp that we saw at the end of season 3, where Hopper is working in forced labor, and where they have a Demogorgon. Journey, awesome. Okay.
I relocated you guys far
Okay.
from Hawkins.
So there's the roller rink, and Mike and 11 are together. So the whole thing is like she's counting down to spring break, so they're going to go back and visit Hawkins. So we see Mike, Will, and 11 in the skating rink, and this voiceover says, "We located you guys far from Hawkins." So probably some government official is still keeping tabs on 11. They don't like that she like snuck off to go to the roller rink with Mike.
Far from Hawkins. Because I thought you'd be safe.
Okay, scratch that. I'm an idiot. They moved them far from Hawkins for their own safety. I should just listen to more of this. Okay, Joyce has gotten a package with Russian stamps on it. From Hopper? From the Russian government?
A war is coming.
Okay. Not even sure who's doing this voiceover. It says the war is coming. I wonder if this is the man who killed his family in the 50s, who they're like visiting now in the 80s as an old man. Then we see the whole team kind of going into this haunted house. I think in the first trailer we only saw some of them. There's only like 3 or 4 of them. I could be wrong about that.
I'm afraid your friends in Hawkins are very much in the eye of the storm.
All right, they're in the haunted house. They have their flashlights, very Goonies, and the camera's starting to rotate and do that thing it does when we're about to go into the Upside Down. And someone from the government, might be Paul Reiser's character, is talking to 11.
Have my powers.
I don't
She
know
doesn't
how
have her
to say this other than
powers.
Just to say it. Without you, we can't win this war.
All right, it's Paul Reiser, and he's talking about a war. Could be a war with the Russians, like the Russians are weaponizing the Upside Down. and 11 doesn't have her powers, and this is really cool because it's the first time we've seen Paul Reiser's character, who's a super nice guy, try to use 11 the same way Matthew Modine's character did. And we see her like in this truck getting pulled away from everyone else. And it's because we saw this shot, like I think way back in the first teaser images of her being like pulled away from people and yelling. So it is cool to see like battle lines are being drawn here, that it's not like, oh, the Russians just happen to be underneath them all. Could actually be a war with the Upside Down. Like it could be not a war like part of the Cold War, but maybe the Russians, like the orcs or maybe the Russians, like the dwarves in Moria, they dug too deep, and now they've been taken over by this evil that's in the Upside Down.
Without you, we can't win this war.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that is wicked. Love the music on the lightning crash. So let's go to a freeze frame here. We're in the Upside Down. This is the haunted house. And we've got these cool bat creatures that we haven't seen before, almost like pterodactyls. I'm just rewinding to get a better look at them. Oh, so cool. They're like flying demogorgons. I kind of feel like the first season of Stranger Things set up like this one cool monster, and every season since has been like Gremlins 2, like just finding awesome variations on that one monster. Oh, so cool. So yeah, there's something going on with this house. This house is like at the center. It's a nexus. It could be the first contact with the Upside Down because that clock, was teleported or brought to the high school for some reason. So cool.
See you on the other side.
On the other side.
All right, cool. There's Steve and Nancy. See you on the other side. Have they figured out how to just travel to the Upside Down through this house? Maybe. And then we cut before we can see. And then the kids are... Okay. The kids are in the Upside Down, riding into the trailer park on their bikes, and they're not wearing any protective gear, which tells me one of two things. One, they are in the Upside Down, and they're just getting by without the protective gear, like Hopper and Joyce had. Or the Upside Down started to take over their world. Like part of Hawkins has actually been absorbed, and these vines that are growing outwards, like the vines in episode 2 of the Mind Flayer, have actually started to affect the world, and Hawkins is at the center of it.
I was convinced I was put here for some other reason.
Okay, there they are. Hopper's in jail, the same shot that we saw in the very first trailer, and then he's getting a gas mask tied to his face.
Maybe I can still help. Even if it's the last thing I do.
Are they fighting? They're making the prisoners fight this thing? I think that's what's happening here. They're taking all these Russian prisoners, putting them in a pit. It's like that Simpsons joke. There's no truth to the rumor that we take the prisoners out of their cells and race them. And they're making them fight the Demogorgon, but Hopper's seen these things before, so he knows to light this spear on fire. It's so cool. Every ending has a beginning, or whatever they're going to say here. I don't know who this guy is. I'm kind of embarrassed to say it. Who's doing the advanced D&D. All right, so we see 11 in the lab. It looks like she's just used her powers against people for the first time. This is the lab, by the way, where the kids had a playroom. We saw teases of it in the second trailer, where there was, the different kids using their powers in different ways, and we saw different objects that corresponded to the Magic 8 Ball and stuff. So 11 did something in this room. I don't know if she killed the other kids and doesn't remember it, or if she killed orderlies or whatever, but there's something that's so traumatic, I think she's blocked it out from her childhood.
People say Hawkins is cursed.
All right, Lucas's sister. Who the hell was that? So swimming over this giant maw is somebody who looks like he has Steve's hair. Insane. So it's underwater? They've opened up a gash to the Upside Down underwater? Okay, and Max is over Billy's grave levitating. I don't know if that means Max has powers or if there's some kind of weird gravity well. It's making her float. That's great. That is nuts.
They're not.
Okay, and now we're doing military stuff in the desert. Could be Afghanistan because the Russians were invading Afghanistan around this time. I think the season's set in 85, 86, and I think they pulled out of Afghanistan in 86. Or, no, actually, desert is more than likely in California, where 11 is.
Way off.
Let me go back and listen to that dialogue, sorry.
They're not way off.
So it was, they think Hawkins is cursed and they're not way off. And then we've got 11, and this looks like, I don't know if they've de-aged Millie Bobby Brown or if they've like reshaved her head, but she is in a facility. She's back to wearing the sensory deprivation stuff. So maybe they took her again because like Paul Reiser recruited her in their war, and they're just making this stuff happen. Like they are trying to take down whatever, and they're like forcing her into labor here and trying to get her powers back. And it worked. We see her here like using her powers. So here's more upside down stuff. It definitely looks like it was Steve swimming around in the upside down goo earlier, because this is him. And he's fighting a bat creature. Yeah, he's like swinging this thing at one of those a broom that we saw at those bats earlier. Who the hell is this guy playing guitar? I don't know enough about metal to like recognize him right away, but he's playing in the upside down like it's a music video on top of a trailer park, maybe the trailer park we saw earlier. All right, that's awesome. Like I'm really digging the imagery at least, and it's definitely made me go, okay, I don't know what to expect from this season of Stranger Things. Don't know. Okay, and start. And that was the blind guy. Looks like Robert Englund, who is the guy who killed his family in the house. And he's either blinded himself or he's been blinded. It's really gross. I don't want to look at it anymore. Which is interesting. That, like I said, I think that's going to be like the first contact with the Upside Down. Okay, old-fashioned airplane. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a rescue mission. Look at that. It's Joyce and the conspiracy theory guy flying a plane into Russia to save Hopper. That's awesome. And then I think the whole gang is there, because then we have Dustin in this winter garb. There's this little shack that blows up with Russians running from it. 11, back with short hair. Looks like she's older. Using her powers in the Upside Down. Steve getting blasted out of this geyser of water. So he was in the Upside Down. Or the Upside Downs come to Hawkins, and he swims underwater to like get a look at this portal thing underneath, and then it shoots him out, and then he's covered in goo, and he fights the bats. Here's Joyce, I think, who is, nope, it's not Joyce, looks like Maya Hawke, come face to face with a Demogorgon hand. Brief flash of a woman oh, is that Nancy? Oh, yeah, it could be Mrs. Wheeler right there. Cradling a little girl, Lucas screaming. The kids wearing like Ghostbusters gear, going after the monster. More weird upside down Red World shots of Max. Like Max is getting summoned by this thing, maybe because Billy had a connection to it. It like attached to her in some way, and some of that power is like now in her. Because they got this awesome Freddy Krueger shot with these claws like looking at her.
It's time.
What was the last word there? It was
Hawkins is cursed. They're not way off.
It's time.
there we go. Now we got the creature from the beginning that I was like, oh, it's like the Mind Flayer. And I think it is. I think that the Mind Flayers just like managed to take over a body or build a body. And it's doing this cool Borg Queen, White Walker thing. Very cool.
You have lost.
You have lost?
You have lost.
I should turn on the subtitles. See if I see All right, so here's my off-the-cuff reaction about this whole thing. Stranger Things Season 1, awesome, 80s stuff, great, we loved it, revolutionary. Stranger Things Season 2, a lot of people didn't like it. The episode with 11, I loved it. I loved that we had that little aside, because I don't think that story would have interwoven very well between the other stories. Season 3, we didn't cover it on the channel very much. I wasn't that hot on it. I don't like things where characters like yelling at each other a lot. So I have trouble with like Malcolm in the Middle past season 3. And it was a lot of Joyce and Hopper yelling at each other. And I thought the whole premise of the mall was a little like, okay, look, seriously, like the mayor of a small town sold out his country to the Russians and no one noticed they were in this mall. It seemed like, even for a show with this premise, a little far-fetched. Because the whole thing about Stranger Things is it's a perfectly normal town where this one abnormal thing is happening at this lab, right? The Russian edition never really rang true for me. It wasn't it was a good season of television. It was fun. What I'm seeing of season 4 makes me like season 3 better, because season 4 is doing a good job of saying, okay, so we've opened up all these different ideas. We have the idea of the Upside Down. We have the idea of the kids. We have the idea of now we have these Russians involved. And they're saying, let's just go to the Upside Down. Let's just show that world. Let's explore where it came from. And to me, expanding that world makes the expansion in season 3 seem more in universe. Does that make sense? Like we're showing how other countries are aware of the Upside Down, which I guess was teased in episode 1 when 11 kills that Russian general. But we're going, okay, so what are the ramifications of this? What is the ultimate plan of the Upside Down? So I'm pretty pumped about it. It looks really cool. The thing about Stranger Things is it's not even about the creatures or the monsters or the 80s references. It's about the characters. Like, I loved all of these characters and getting to watch them grow up. I grew up in the 80s, so it kind of feels like you're growing up with them. So you have this nostalgia attachment to them, and they're also great actors. To direct young actors as well as this show has done is really difficult. So yeah, I'm excited. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, or you can @ me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.